The Plaza Principle. Part 1. The Message. Bianca's phone buzzed against the kitchen counter while her hands were elbow-deep in soapy water. She'd been scrubbing the same cast-iron skillet for 3 minutes, watching the grease swirl and separate, thinking about nothing and everything. Her daughter Maya sat at the table behind her, lining up wooden blocks in perfect rows. Red, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow. Humming a melody only she could hear. The phone buzzed again, then again. Bianca dried her hands on the dish towel embroidered with snowflakes that her mother had given her 5 Christmases ago, back when things were different. Or maybe they weren't different at all. Maybe she just hadn't noticed yet. The messages were from her sister Caroline, 3 of them, sent in rapid succession the way Caroline always communicated. The world would end if she didn't immediately transmit every thought that crossed her mind. Hey B, so we need to talk about Christmas dinner. Derek's parents are flying in from Arizona and his sister is bringing her new boyfriend. We're maxed out on space at the dining table. You understand, right? Bianca stared at the screen. Behind her, Maya's humming grew louder, more insistent. It was her happy sound, the one she made when the pattern was working, when the world made sense in the way only Maya could make it make sense. A 4th message appeared. But we still need you to make your famous lasagna and the tiramisu, and maybe that butternut squash soup Derek's mom loved last year. I'll send you the updated gift list later. Derek's dad is really into golf now, FYI. Bianca's thumb hovered over the keyboard. She started typing 3 different responses and deleted them all. Her chest felt tight like someone had reached inside her ribcage and was slowly squeezing. Mama? Maya's voice cut through the fog. Pattern's done. Bianca turned. 24 blocks stood in perfect formation on the scarred wooden table, a rainbow army awaiting orders. Maya's dark eyes, so much like Bianca's own, watched her carefully. At 7 years old, her daughter could read emotional weather systems better than any meteorologist, even if she couldn't always name what she was seeing. It's beautiful, sweet girl. Bianca's voice came out steady, which surprised her. Want to build a castle next? Maya considered this with the seriousness she brought to all decisions. But a tall one, as tall as me. As tall as you, Bianca agreed. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from her mother. Caroline told me about Christmas. It makes sense, honey. You know how Maya gets overwhelmed with too many people. This way is better for everyone. Bianca set her phone face down on the counter and watched her daughter build. Part 2. The Archaeology of Being Used. That night, after Maya was asleep, tucked into her weighted blanket, her noise-canceling headphones on the nightstand, in case the world became too loud in her dreams, Bianca sat on the bathroom floor with her laptop balanced on her knees. She'd started opening her email to pay bills, but instead found herself scrolling through old messages. Years of them. A digital archaeological dig through the layers of her own erasure. From Caroline, 3 years ago, can you watch the kids Saturday? I know you don't have plans. From her mother, 2 years ago, Bianca, I need you to organize Dad's 60th. You're so good at this stuff, and I'm swamped with the garden club fundraiser. From her brother Marcus, last spring, hey, can you loan me $500? I'll pay you back after tax return season. He never did. From Caroline, again, 6 months ago, why is Maya always so loud at family dinners? Can't you do something about that? Bianca closed the laptop. Her bathroom was small, barely room for one person, let alone the weight of a lifetime of quiet accommodations. The tile was cold against her back. Above her, the exhaust fan rattled like it had bronchitis. When had it started? When had she become the person they called when they needed something but excluded when it was inconvenient? She knew the answer, of course. It had started the day she brought Maya home from the hospital, screaming in that newborn way that promised to reorganize your entire life. And it had calcified 3 years later, when the pediatrician had said the word autism, and Bianca had watched her family's faces rearrange themselves into expressions of polite concern that didn't quite hide their discomfort. She'll grow out of it, her mother had said. Kids are resilient, Caroline had added. At least she's pretty, Marcus had offered, as if that was the consolation prize. Maya hadn't grown out of it, because there was nothing to grow out of. Maya's brain was different, not broken. She experienced the world in textures and patterns and sounds that other people filtered out. She needed routine and warning and space to be exactly who she was. The family had never learned to give her that space. Instead, they'd learned to ask Bianca to manage it, to keep Maya quiet, to make her less, to leave her home if necessary. And Bianca had done it. For years, she'd done it. She picked up her phone and opened the message thread with Caroline again. Her sister had sent the gift list as promised. 18 people, each with detailed specifications. Derek's dad, golf clubs, size L, preferably Titleist. Derek's mom, cashmere scarf, neutral colors, nothing too bold. Derek's sister, spa gift certificate, at least $100. Derek's sister's boyfriend, bottle of good scotch. Derek says Macallan 18. The list went on. Bianca did the mental math. Even shopping carefully, she was looking at over $2,000. Money she didn't have. Money she'd been saving for Maya's occupational therapy sessions that insurance only partially covered. At the bottom of the message, Caroline had added, "Thanks, sis, you're the best. Don't know what we'd do without you. Heart." Bianca almost laughed. Almost. Instead, she opened a new browser window and typed, "Hotels in New York City, December." Part 3. The Plaza. "We're going on an adventure," Bianca told Maya the next morning over breakfast. Maya looked up from her waffle, which she'd been systematically eating in a grid pattern, one square at a time. "What kind of adventure?" "A trip, just you and me, to New York City." Maya's eyes went wide. "The place with the big tree?" "The biggest tree you've ever seen. And ice skating?" "If you want to." Maya considered this, head tilted, processing. Bianca had learned to wait during these moments, to let her daughter's mind work through all the variables and possibilities. "Will there be a lot of people?" Maya asked finally. Yes, because she'd promised herself after the autism diagnosis that she would never lie to her daughter about the world. "But we can bring your headphones, and we'll take breaks whenever you need them. We'll make a plan together." "Okay." Maya nodded once, decisive. "I want to go." That afternoon, while Maya was at school, Bianca sat in the hospital break room during her lunch shift and booked everything. She was an oncology nurse, and she'd just finished holding the hand of a 68-year-old woman who'd cried because her children hadn't visited in 3 months. The woman had apologized for crying. She'd apologized for existing. Bianca had recognized something in that apology. The Plaza Hotel had rooms available December 23rd through 26th. The price made Bianca's stomach clench, but she entered her credit card information anyway. She booked tickets to the Rockettes Christmas Spectacular. She made reservations at Serendipity 3 for hot chocolate. She found a special showing of the Nutcracker that advertised sensory-friendly accommodations. With each click, each confirmation email, she felt something inside her chest crack open. Not breaking, opening. Like she'd been holding her breath for 7 years and had finally remembered how to exhale. Her phone buzzed. Caroline again. "Did you get the gift list? Also, can you come over Tuesday to help me set up the dining room? Derek's parents are really particular about table settings." Bianca stared at the message. Her thumbs moved across the screen. "I won't be able to make Christmas dinner this year. Maya and I have other plans. I hope you have a lovely time with Derek's family." She hit send before she could second-guess herself. Then, she turned off her phone. Her mother's messages were more measured, but somehow worse. "Honey, I understand you're upset about the seating situation, but you're being unreasonable. Caroline has worked so hard on this dinner. Can't you put aside your feelings for one day?" Marcus didn't call. He never did unless he needed something. Bianca sat on the couch with Maya curled against her side, watching Encanto for the 47th time. Maya knew every word, every note, every subtle shift in Mirabelle's expression. When the family fell apart, Maya's hand found Bianca's and squeezed. "They don't see her," Maya whispered during the scene where Mirabelle was invisible in the family photo. "No," Bianca agreed. "They don't. Do they see us?" The question hung in the air between them. Bianca could have deflected, could have smoothed it over, but she'd promised herself honesty. Not the way they should, she said finally. But that's not about us. That's about them. Maya thought about this. We see each other. Yes, we do. That's better. Yes, Bianca said, her throat tight. That's better. On Tuesday, Caroline showed up at Bianca's apartment unannounced. Bianca heard her sister's key in the lock, a key Bianca had given her years ago for emergencies that Caroline had apparently redefined to include ambush interventions. We need to talk, Caroline said, striding into the living room like she owned the place. She was wearing her serious conversation outfit, designer jeans and cashmere sweater that probably cost more than Bianca's monthly grocery budget. Bianca closed her laptop where she'd been researching the best pizza places near Times Square. Maya was at her grandmother's house for the afternoon, a playdate Bianca had arranged before the Christmas implosion. You could have knocked, she said. You haven't been answering your phone. That should tell you something. Caroline's face did something complicated. Why are you being like this? Like what? Difficult? Dramatic? You're acting like we did something terrible, but we were just trying to make Christmas work for everyone. Bianca stood up. She was shorter than Caroline by 3 inches, but in that moment, she felt taller. By uninviting Maya and me? We didn't uninvite you. There are space constraints. Derek's parents take priority. I know. You said that in your message. It's one dinner, Bianca, one, and we still wanted you to contribute. That's including you. No, Bianca said quietly. That's using me. Caroline's mouth opened, closed. That's not fair. When was the last time anyone in this family asked what Maya and I needed? When was the last time someone offered to help me, to show up for us? We care about you. You know we do. You care about what I can do for you. There's a difference. The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut. Caroline's eyes were bright with tears, but Bianca couldn't tell if they were genuine or tactical. Caroline had always been good at crying when it served her. You're my sister, Caroline said finally. Then treat me like one. Treat my daughter like your niece instead of an embarrassment you have to manage. Caroline flinched. I never said Maya was an embarrassment. You didn't have to say it. She's hard to be around sometimes. She makes those noises, and she doesn't like to be touched, and she runs away from the dinner table. Because she's autistic, Caroline. Because your dining room is too loud and too bright and too much for her sensory system. Because she's a 7-year-old child who experiences the world differently than you do, and not once has any of you tried to make space for that. We don't know how. You've never tried to learn. Caroline was fully crying now. Bianca felt something twist in her chest, the old instinct to comfort, to smooth things over, to make it okay. But she didn't move. What do you want from me? Caroline asked. Nothing, Bianca said. I don't want anything from you anymore. I want you to have a nice Christmas with Derek's family. I want you to succeed at the dinner you've worked so hard to plan. I want you to impress his parents. But Maya and I won't be there to help you do it. Where are you even going? New York. New York? For Christmas? Bianca, that's insane. It's expensive, it's crowded. It's ours, Bianca interrupted. It's something I'm doing with my daughter because she deserves to have a magical Christmas, because she deserves to be somewhere she's wanted, not just tolerated. I want you at Christmas. No, Bianca said gently. You want my labor at Christmas. There's a difference. Caroline left without another word. Bianca heard her sister's footsteps on the stairs, heard the building's front door slam. Then she sat back down on the couch and cried for 20 minutes. The kind of crying that came from somewhere deep and old and finally acknowledged. When she was done, she felt lighter. Part 5. The City That Never Sleeps. The Plaza Hotel lobby looked like Christmas had exploded in the most beautiful way possible. Garlands and ribbons and lights everywhere, a massive tree that made Maya gasp audibly, and the kind of old-world elegance that made Bianca feel like she'd stepped into a movie. Mama, Maya breathed. It's so pretty. It is, isn't it? Their room was on the 8th floor, with a view of Central Park. Maya immediately claimed the bed nearest the window and set up her stuffed animals in careful formation along the pillows. Bianca watched her daughter's face. The concentration, the precision, the pure joy of having space to be exactly herself. What should we do first? Bianca asked. Maya consulted the laminated schedule Bianca had made, complete with pictures and timestamps. Ice skating, then hot chocolate, then the big tree. Ice skating it is. Woolman Rink was crowded, but not overwhelming. They rented skates and wobbled onto the ice together, holding hands. Maya fell twice in the first 5 minutes and laughed both times, which was how Bianca knew this was already better than any family dinner could have been. An older couple skated past them, the man holding his wife's elbow as she glided. They were in their 70s maybe, with matching scarves and the kind of comfortable synchronicity that came from decades together. You two are adorable, the woman called to Bianca and Maya. Mother-daughter trip? Christmas adventure, Maya announced proudly. Best kind, the man said, winking. They skated for an hour. Bianca's ankles hurt and her cheeks burned from the cold, but Maya's smile was incandescent. When they finally stumbled off the ice, her daughter's first words were, "Can we come back tomorrow?" Absolutely. Hot chocolate at Serendipity 3 came in portions large enough to swim in. Maya got whipped cream on her nose and didn't care. She was wearing her noise-canceling headphones, but she'd decorated them with Christmas stickers earlier, and Bianca thought she'd never seen anything more perfect than her daughter right now. Present, happy, entirely herself. Mama, Maya said around a mouthful of chocolate. Yeah, sweet girl? This is the best Christmas ever. Yeah? Yeah, Maya nodded seriously. Because it's just us, and we don't have to be quiet or leave early or pretend to be different. Bianca's throat closed up. No, we don't. I like it better this way. Me too, Maya. Me too. That evening, they went to see the Rockefeller Center tree. It was massive and blazing and surrounded by thousands of people. And Bianca kept waiting for Maya to get overwhelmed, to ask to leave. But her daughter stood there with her headphones on, staring up at the lights with an expression of pure wonder. It's like looking at a galaxy, Maya said finally. All those lights, all those patterns. What patterns do you see? Maya pointed, tracing invisible lines in the air. See how they spiral? It's like the Fibonacci sequence. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. The lights follow it. Well, sort of. They tried to, anyway. Bianca looked at the tree with new eyes. She couldn't see what Maya saw. Her brain didn't work that way. But she loved that her daughter could find mathematics in Christmas lights, could see the architecture of the universe in a decorated tree. You're brilliant, Bianca said. Maya shrugged, matter of fact. I just see different. That's what makes you brilliant. They walked back to the hotel through streets that glittered with possibility. Bianca's phone was still off, tucked in her purse, a small act of rebellion that felt bigger with each passing hour. She had no idea what was happening at Caroline's house. She didn't know if the family had managed Christmas dinner without her. She didn't know if they were angry or sorry or some complicated combination of both. She didn't care. Well, that wasn't entirely true. She cared, but she was learning, slowly, painfully, that caring didn't require sacrificing herself. That love shouldn't come at the cost of her own erasure. Part 6. The Panic. Bianca turned her phone on Christmas morning. A tactical error, maybe, but she was human and curious, and still entangled with people she couldn't simply cut out of her life. 63 missed calls, 87 text messages, 14 voicemails. She started with the voicemails, each one a small window into the disaster she'd left behind. Caroline, Christmas Eve morning. Bianca, please call me back. I tried to make the lasagna and it's a disaster. I don't know what I did wrong. Derek's parents arrive in 4 hours. Her mother, Christmas Eve afternoon, honey, we really need to talk about your behavior. This is family. You don't just abandon family. Caroline, again, Christmas Eve evening, the turkey is still frozen. I don't understand. I took it out this morning. Like I always, like the recipe said. Derek is panicking. His parents are going to be here any minute and nothing is ready. Marcus, surprisingly, hey, Caroline's having a meltdown, just so you know. Thought you should hear it from me. Dinner's kind of a shit show. Caroline, Christmas morning. Fine. You want me to say it? I messed up. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much you did. I didn't realize her voice cracked. Please just call me back. And finally, their mother, Bianca Marie, this has gone far enough. You've made your point. Caroline is beside herself. The dinner was a disaster. Derek's parents barely spoke to her. His father said your lasagna was the only thing he was looking forward to, and when it wasn't there, it wasn't good. Call your sister. Apologize. Bianca deleted all the voicemails. She scrolled through the text messages next. Most were variations on the same theme: guilt, accusation, panic. But there were others too. Messages from people she barely heard from. From her cousin Jennifer, who lived in Oregon. Hey, heard you and Maya went to NYC. That's so cool. You deserve it. Caroline's always been a bit self-centered. Don't let them guilt you. From her college roommate Angela. Your mom called me trying to get me to talk sense into you. I told her you were the most sensible person I knew. Enjoy NYC. You've earned it. From her Aunt Patricia, her father's sister. Good for you. I stopped going to family Christmas 5 years ago. Best decision I ever made. Love you and Maya. Merry Christmas. Bianca stared at her phone. All this time, she'd thought she was alone and feeling used, invisible. But there were people orbiting the edges of her family who'd seen it, who'd experienced it, who'd gotten out. One message made her actually laugh out loud. It was from Derek, Caroline's fiancé, sent at 2:47 a.m. Christmas morning. I owe you an apology, a big one. My parents are judgmental assholes. I knew that. I shouldn't have let Caroline uninvite you and Maya to accommodate them. The dinner was terrible without you there. Not because of the food, though, yeah, that too, but because I realized we've been treating you like staff instead of family. I'm sorry. You don't have to forgive me, but I wanted you to know I saw it. Finally. And I'm going to do better. Bianca read the message 3 times. It wasn't enough, not nearly enough, but it was something, a crack in the foundation of family dysfunction, a tiny opening toward change. Maya padded out of the bathroom in her pajamas, hair wet from the shower. Is it present time? They'd brought just a few gifts, small things Bianca had wrapped in hotel tissue paper, a new set of colored pencils for Maya, a book about fractals, a stuffed penguin Maya had fallen in love with in the hotel gift shop. Present time, Bianca confirmed. They sat on the floor between the beds, and Maya opened each gift with meticulous care, smoothing out the tissue paper and folding it into neat squares before moving to the next. When she got to the penguin, she hugged it so tightly, Bianca worried she'd pop a seam. What should we name him? Maya asked. What do you think? Maya considered the penguin seriously. Plaza, because that's where we met him. Plaza the penguin. I like it. Me too. Maya set Plaza carefully on her pillow with the other stuffed animals. Mama, can I ask you something? Always. Are you sad we're not at Aunt Caroline's? Bianca thought about the question. Really thought about it. No, she said finally. I'm not sad. Are you? No. Maya shook her head. I like it here. I like that we don't have to worry about being too loud or too weird or too much. I like that it's just us. Me too, sweet girl. Do you think they're mad at us? Probably, but that's okay. Sometimes people get mad when you stop letting them use you. Maya absorbed this. That doesn't seem fair. It's not, but it's how it works sometimes. Oh, pause. Mama? Yeah? I'm glad we're here instead. Me too, Maya. Me too. Part 7. The Nutcracker and the sensory-friendly performance of the Nutcracker was scheduled for 3 o'clock Christmas afternoon. They arrived early, and Bianca immediately understood why this show was different. The lobby lights were dimmer. There were quiet rooms available if anyone needed a break. The staff wore badges that said, "Ask me about accommodations," in bright, friendly letters. Maya clutched Plaza, the penguin, and looked around with wide eyes. Other families were there. Other children who wore headphones, or stimmed, or moved in ways that marked them as different. Other parents who looked like they'd been holding their breath and had finally found a place to exhale. A woman approached them, maybe Bianca's age, with a boy who looked about 10. The boy was flapping his hands and making happy sounds, and his mother was smiling. "First time?" the woman asked. "Is it that obvious?" Bianca said. "You have that look, like you can't believe this is real." The woman held out her hand. "I'm Rachel. Bianca. This is Maya. This is Connor." Rachel's son had moved on to spinning in circles, arms outstretched. "We come every year. It's the only theater performance we can actually enjoy as a family. How did you find out about it?" "Desperation," Rachel said frankly. 3 years ago, I was where I think you might be, feeling invisible, feeling like I was failing because my kid couldn't sit still in a regular theater. Then, a therapist told me about these performances, and it changed everything. "It feels like magic," Bianca admitted. "It is magic. The magic of being seen." Rachel squeezed her arm. "Enjoy it. You deserve this." The performance was beautiful, not because it was perfect. Some of the dancers were clearly dealing with sensory challenges of their own, and there were moments when kids in the audience made noise or moved around. But because it was real, because it was inclusive, because Maya sat in her seat with Plaza in her lap and watched the whole thing without once asking to leave. Afterwards, Maya was quiet in the way that meant she was processing something big. They walked back to the hotel through the early winter darkness, the city lights reflecting off the slight snow that had started to fall. "Mama," Maya said finally. "Yeah?" "There were kids like me there, at the show." "There were." "They were happy." "They were." "I'm happy too." Bianca stopped walking. She knelt down on the snowy sidewalk, eye level with her daughter. "Maya, you know you don't have to do anything to deserve to be happy, right? You don't have to earn it or be good enough or fit into someone else's idea of normal. You just get to be happy because you're you." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Aunt Caroline says I need to try harder. Aunt Caroline is wrong. Uncle Marcus says I'm too much work. Uncle Marcus is wrong too. Grandma says..." "Grandma is wrong," Bianca said fiercely. "They're all wrong, sweet girl. You are perfect exactly as you are. Your brain is different, not broken. Your way of experiencing the world is valid. You don't need to be less of yourself to make other people comfortable. Do you hear me?" Maya nodded, tears spilling over. "They're the ones who need to change, not you. They're the ones who need to learn and grow and do better, not you. Never you." "But they won't," Maya whispered. "They won't change." And there it was, the truth her 7-year-old daughter had already figured out, the truth Bianca had been avoiding. "Maybe not," Bianca admitted. "Maybe they won't. But that doesn't mean we have to keep showing up to be hurt by them. We get to choose our family, Maya. We get to choose who gets access to us. Can we choose each other? We already did. From the moment I first held you, we chose each other." Maya wrapped her arms around Bianca's neck and held on tight. They stayed like that for a long moment, kneeling in the snow while the city moved around them, a small island of two in a sea of millions. "I love you, Mama. I love you too, sweet girl, so much." When they finally stood up, Maya took Bianca's hand. "Can we get pizza for dinner?" "We can get whatever you want." "I want pizza, the kind that's bigger than my head." "That can be arranged." They found a tiny pizzeria 3 blocks from the hotel, the kind of place with checkered tablecloths and pictures of Italy on the walls, and a man who looked like someone's grandfather making dough behind the counter. The pizza was, indeed, bigger than Maya's head. They ate until they were stuffed, and Maya got sauce on her shirt and didn't care, and Bianca thought, this is what peace feels like. Part 8. The text. On the morning of December 26th, Bianca finally replied to Caroline's messages. She'd written and deleted a dozen different responses. Angry ones, sad ones, explanatory ones that tried to make her sister understand. But in the end, she kept it simple. I'm glad you're starting to see the pattern, but awareness isn't the same as change. If you want a relationship with Maya and me moving forward, we need actual effort, not just apologies when you realize you need something from us. We're not coming back to being your family convenience. We're worth more than that. Caroline's response came within minutes. You're right. I know you're right. I've been talking to Derek, and he helped me see. God, Bianca, I've been such a bitch. I didn't realize. Or I didn't want to realize. I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not just because the dinner was a disaster without you, but because I made you feel like you weren't important. Like Maya wasn't important. Bianca stared at the message. It felt genuine. It also felt like the beginning of something, not the end. Thank you for saying that. But I need you to understand. Saying sorry isn't enough. I need to see change. Maya needs to see change. I know. I want to do better. Will you give me a chance? Bianca looked at Maya, who was sitting cross-legged on her bed, reading her fractal book with intense concentration. Her daughter's hair was a mess, her pajamas were inside out, and she was humming that wordless melody that meant she was content. Maybe. But it's going to take time. And it's going to require you to actually learn about autism. To make space for Maya as she is, not as you want her to be. Can you do that? The typing indicator appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Yes, I can try. I want to try. Derek's parents, they apologized too, to me. Derek's dad pulled me aside before they left and said his brother's kid is autistic, and watching our family exclude you and Maya reminded him of how his family treated his brother. He said I was making the same mistakes his parents made, and they regret it now. They barely have a relationship with their grandson because of it. Bianca felt something shift in her chest. Not forgiveness, not yet, but something like the possibility of it. That's good that he told you that. Listen to him. I will. I am. Bianca? Yeah? Where did you go? For Christmas? Bianca smiled at her phone. The Plaza Hotel in New York. Maya and I saw the Nutcracker and ate pizza and ice skated in Central Park. It was perfect. That sounds amazing. It was. It really was. Can I see you when you get back? Not to ask for anything, just to talk. Maybe. Text me after New Year's. Okay. I love you, sis. Bianca hesitated, then typed, I love you too, but love isn't enough without respect. I know. I'm going to do better. I hope so. Part 9. The plane ride home. The flight back to Chicago felt different than the flight to New York had. Going, Bianca had been running, away from her family, away from expectations, away from the person she'd been for so long. Coming back, she was returning, but as someone new, someone who'd remembered her worth. Maya was curled up against the window, watching clouds. She had Plaza tucked under her arm and her headphones on, though she wasn't playing anything. She just liked the weight of them. Mama? Maya said, not looking away from the window. Yeah, sweet girl? Are we going to go back to normal now, with the family? I don't know, Bianca said honestly. Maybe, but it'll be a different normal. A better one. Or we'll find our own normal, just you and me. I like just you and me. I do too. But maybe we can build something where we get to keep our peace and also have family. If they're willing to change. She considered this. What if they're not? Then we'll have each other, and our friends, and our own traditions. We'll be okay. Will you be sad? Bianca thought about it. Probably, sometimes. But I'll be okay too. Because I'm choosing us. I'm choosing our happiness over their comfort. And that's the right choice. Even if they don't understand? Especially if they don't understand. Maya nodded, satisfied. Okay. They landed at O'Hare just after 5 in the evening. The airport was chaos. Holiday travelers everywhere, people hugging and crying and laughing. Bianca held Maya's hand tightly as they navigated through the crowd. Her mother was waiting at baggage claim. Bianca saw her before her mother saw them, standing by the carousel, searching faces, looking older and smaller than Bianca remembered. "Grandma!" Maya called out before Bianca could decide whether to approach. Her mother's face transformed. She rushed toward them, and for a moment she thought she was going to get swept up in a hug. But her mother stopped short, looking uncertain. "Hi," her mother said finally. "Hi, Mom. How is New York?" "How was New York?" "It was wonderful," Bianca said carefully. "Maya, tell Grandma about the tree." Maya launched into an animated description of Rockefeller Center, complete with hand gestures and detailed analysis of the light patterns. Bianca watched her mother's face, looking for the familiar signs. The subtle wince when Maya's voice got too loud, the glance around to see if people were staring, the gentle shushing that came disguised as affection. But her mother just listened, really listened. And when Maya paused for breath, she said, "That sounds beautiful, sweetheart. I'm so glad you got to see it." They collected the luggage in silence. Maya had found a penny on the floor and was examining it with intense focus, turning it over and over in her hands. "Can we talk?" her mother asked quietly. "Maybe coffee? I can watch Maya if you need a minute." "Maya comes with me," Bianca said. It wasn't negotiable. "Of course. I meant all of us. Can we all talk?" They found a quiet corner in one of the airport cafes. Maya set up her stuffed animals on an empty chair and pulled out her colored pencils. She learned long ago how to occupy herself during adult conversations. Bianca's mother wrapped her hands around her coffee cup like she was cold, though the cafe was warm. "Caroline talked to me about Christmas, about everything." Bianca waited. She didn't realize, or I didn't let myself realize, how much we were asking of you, how we were treating you, like the help, like someone whose value was in what I could provide, not who I was. Her mother flinched. "Yes. And Maya? How are you treating her?" Like, her voice cracked, like she was a problem to be managed. Like her needs were inconvenient. She needed to be fixed. "She doesn't need to be fixed, Mom. She never did. I know that now. Or I'm starting to know it." Her mother looked at Maya, who was carefully coloring a mandala pattern, her tongue poking out in concentration. "She's remarkable. She always has been. And I've been so focused on wanting her to be normal that I couldn't see how extraordinary she already is." Bianca felt tears prick her eyes. "You really hurt us, Mom. Both of us. For years. I know. I'm not sure sorry is enough." "I know that too." Her mother finally met Bianca's eyes. "But I want to try. I want to learn. I want to do better." I called Maya's therapist, Dr. Chen. I asked if I could come to a session to learn about autism, to understand how to support Maya properly. She said she'd talk to you first. Bianca's breath caught. "You called her therapist?" "I should have done it years ago, the moment you told me about the diagnosis. But I was scared, and I was ignorant, and I let those things turn into harm." Her mother's hands trembled around the coffee cup. "I can't take back the past, but I can show up differently going forward, if you'll let me." Maya looked up from her coloring. "Grandma?" "Yes, sweetie? Do you really want to learn about me? About how my brain works?" Bianca's mother's face crumpled. "More than anything." "Okay." Maya nodded once, decisive. "But you have to promise not to try to make me different, just to understand me." "I promise. And you can't get mad when I wear my headphones or need to leave or make sounds." "I won't get mad. And you have to believe me when I tell you something is too loud or too bright or too much." "I will. I believe you." Maya studied her grandmother with those dark, perceptive eyes. "Okay," she said finally. "You can learn about me." Bianca's mother started crying then, quiet tears that she didn't try to hide or apologize for. "Thank you, Maya. Thank you for giving me a chance." Maya went back to her coloring, apparently satisfied. But Bianca saw the slight smile on her daughter's face, the relaxation in her shoulders. Maya wanted this too. Wanted family who could see her. Wanted a grandmother who would try. "This doesn't fix everything," Bianca said to her mother. "This is just the beginning." "I know. And if you backslide, if you fall into old patterns, then you set boundaries. You protect yourself and Maya." "I understand." Her mother reached across the table, hand extended. "But I'm going to try not to backslide. I'm going to do the work." Bianca looked at that hand, wrinkled, spotted with age, trembling slightly. The hand that had held her as a child, that had wiped her tears and braided her hair and made her feel safe. The same hand that had pushed Maya away, that had prioritized comfort over connection. Could people really change? Bianca didn't know, but she knew that her mother was here, asking to learn. That was something. Maybe not everything, but something. She took her mother's hand. Part 10. The New Year. Caroline showed up at Bianca's apartment on New Year's Eve with a bakery box and an armful of books. "I come bearing peace offerings," she announced when Bianca opened the door. "Cupcakes from that place Maya likes, and books. So many books." She held them up for inspection. "The Reason I Jump," "Uniquely Human," "Neurotribes," "Loud Hands," "Autistic People Speaking." "I've been reading, learning, trying to understand." Bianca stepped aside to let her in. Maya was in her room, playing a game on her tablet with the volume carefully controlled. She'd need warning before any social interaction. Time to prepare herself. That's a good start. It's embarrassing how little I knew, how little I bothered to know. Caroline set the books on the kitchen table. "Did you know that autistic people have been saying for decades that the problem isn't autism, it's how society treats autistic people? That the whole framework of disorder is ableist?" "Yes, I did," Bianca said gently. "Right. Of course you did, because you're Maya's mom, and you've been doing this work for years while I—" "Stop." She shook her head. "I'm not here to make this about me. I'm here to apologize. Really apologize. Not because Christmas was a disaster, but because I've been a terrible sister and a worse aunt. Sit down." They sat at the kitchen table, the books spread between them like a bridge. Caroline pulled out her phone and opened her notes app. "I made a list," she said, "of things I want to change, things I want to do differently. Will you look at it?" Bianca took the phone. The list was long, detailed, specific. 1. Learn Maya's sensory needs and accommodate them at family gatherings. 2. Ask Maya directly what she needs instead of asking Bianca to manage her. 3. Stop commenting on Maya's stimming or sounds. 4. Create a quiet space at my house where Maya can decompress. 5. Learn about AAC and communication diversity. 6. Follow autistic advocates on social media. Learn from actually autistic people. 7. Confront other family members when they say ableist things about Maya. 8. Stop expecting Bianca to do all the emotional labor for family events. 9. Ask Bianca what she needs instead of assuming. 10. Remember that Maya doesn't need to be fixed. We need to be better. Bianca read through the list twice. "This is good, Caroline. Really good." "You think so?" "I do. But the hard part isn't making the list. It's actually doing these things. Especially number 7, confronting family members." "I know." Caroline took her phone back. "Marcus said something shitty about Maya at Mom's house yesterday, about how she'll never be able to hold down a job or live independently. And I actually told him he was wrong. That plenty of autistic people work and live independently. And even if Maya needs support as an adult, that doesn't diminish her value as a person." He looked at me like I'd grown a second head.
How did it feel? Scary. Good. Necessary. Caroline smiled weakly. He shut up at least. That's a start. Derek's been helping me. His uncle, the one whose son is autistic, he sent me some resources. And his cousin Ethan, the autistic kid who's actually not a kid anymore, he's 23, he agreed to talk to me, to help me understand. You're doing the work, Bianca acknowledged. I see that. I want to do more. Caroline stopped, emotional. I want to be someone Maya feels safe with. Someone she wants to spend time with. Not someone she tolerates because she has to. That's going to take time. I know, but I have time. I want to use it right. Bianca stood up. Come on, let's go tell Maya you're here. Fair warning, she might need a few minutes to transition, and she might not want to engage much today. That's okay. That's okay, Caroline repeated, like she was practicing. Maya was indeed cautious when she emerged from her room, Plaza tucked under her arm. She looked at Caroline with wary eyes. Hi, Maya, Caroline said softly. I brought cupcakes. The chocolate ones with the raspberry filling that you like, but only if you want one. No pressure. Maya considered this. Can I eat it in my room? Absolutely. And you won't get mad if I get frosting on my shirt? I won't get mad. Okay. Maya accepted a cupcake from the box. Then, surprising everyone, she said, Aunt Caroline, yes? Mama says you're trying to learn about autism. I am. I'm reading books and talking to people and trying to understand. That's good, Maya nodded. Because autism is just how my brain works. It's not bad, it's just different. I'm learning that, Caroline said. And I'm sorry I didn't understand before. It's okay. Lots of people don't understand. But they should try. I'm trying now. Is that okay? Maya looked at her aunt for a long moment. Then she said, Yeah, that's okay. But if you mess up, you have to say sorry and do better. Deal, Caroline agreed. Maya took her cupcake back to her room. Caroline looked at Bianca with wide eyes. She's incredible. Yeah, Bianca said, she is. I've missed so much, being too busy, too focused on the wrong things, too uncomfortable with anything that didn't fit my narrow view of normal. I've missed knowing this amazing kid. You can start knowing her now. I want to. Caroline wiped her eyes. Thank you for giving me this chance. You didn't have to. No, I agreed. I didn't. But I want Maya to have family who love her well. And I want to believe people can change. We can. I will. Caroline stood up. I should go. I don't want to overwhelm Maya, but can I come back? Next week, maybe? We could do something together, the three of us. Whatever Maya wants to do. Text me. We'll figure it out. After Caroline left, Maya came back into the kitchen. Is Aunt Caroline really going to be different? I don't know, sweet girl. I hope so. But we'll have to wait and see. What if she's not? Then we'll still be okay. We'll still have each other and our own traditions and our own peace. Nothing changes that. Maya climbed into Bianca's lap. Too big for this really, but still small enough that Bianca could wrap her arms around her daughter and hold her close.
Mama? Yeah? I'm glad we went to New York. Me too. Can we go back next year? Absolutely. Mute tradition. Just you and me, doing something special for Christmas. What if the family wants us to come to Christmas dinner? Then we'll decide if we want to go. Together. And if we do go, it'll be on our terms. No cooking required, no gifts required, no expectations that will stay if it's too much for you. Our needs matter just as much as everyone else's. Maya thought about this. That seems fair. It is fair. It's actually how family should work. Oh. Pause. Mama? Yes, sweet girl? I love you more than all the Christmas lights at Rockefeller Center. Bianca's throat closed up. That's a lot of love. It's exactly the right amount, Maya said seriously. Yeah, Bianca agreed, kissing the top of her daughter's head. It really is. Epilogue. 1 year later. The Plaza Hotel lobby looked exactly the same. Garlands and ribbons and lights everywhere.
That massive tree, the old world elegance that had made Bianca feel like she'd stepped into a movie last year.
"We're back," Maya announced to no one in particular, spinning in a circle with her arms outstretched. Plaza the penguin, worn now from a year of constant companionship, was tucked securely in Maya's backpack. She'd insisted on bringing him home to his birthplace. "Same room?" the desk clerk asked, recognizing them from last year. "Same room," Bianca confirmed. Upstairs, Maya immediately reclaimed her bed by the window and began setting up her stuffed animals. There were more of them this year, a whole family of penguins that Plaza had apparently acquired. "Can we do everything the same? Ice skating and hot chocolate and the tree?" "We can, or we can do new things too. Whatever you want." "Both," Maya decided. "Same and new." "That's a good philosophy for life." Maya grinned. "I know." Bianca's phone buzzed. A text from Caroline. "Are you there yet? Did Maya like her surprise?" At the front desk, they'd been given an envelope. Inside was a card with a gift certificate for Serendipity 3 and a note in Caroline's handwriting. "For Maya and Bianca. Your Christmas, your way. Love you both." It had been a year of slow progress. Caroline had made good on her promises. She'd done the reading, gone to therapy, talked to Ethan and other autistic adults. She'd reorganized her house to create a quiet room for Maya. She'd started calling out ableist comments from other family members. She'd stopped asking Bianca to manage everything and started doing her own emotional labor. It wasn't perfect. There had been backslides and missteps. But there had also been growth, real, measurable growth. Marcus had mostly stayed the same, distant, self-centered, showing up only when he needed something. Bianca had made peace with that. She couldn't force people to change. She could only control her own boundaries. Her mother had surprised her the most. The woman who'd once suggested Maya just needed more discipline now corrected other people's ableist language. She'd taken a 6-week course on autism at the community college. She'd joined a grandparents' support group. She was trying, really genuinely trying. Last week, her mother had taken Maya for an overnight visit. Bianca had been nervous, but Maya had been excited. When Bianca picked her up the next morning, her mother had greeted her with, "We had a wonderful time. Maya taught me about her special interest in fractals. Did you know there are fractals in broccoli?" Maya had been so happy, so animated, talking about how Grandma had let her explain the Mandelbrot set for 45 minutes without interrupting or changing the subject. That was what change looked like. Not dramatic transformation, but small, consistent choices to do better. "Mama?" Maya's voice brought her back to the present. "You're thinking too much." "How can you tell?" "Your face does a thing," Maya demonstrated, scrunching up her nose and furrowing her brow. "Do I really look like that?" "Yup. Like you're trying to solve a math problem in your head." "Fair enough." Bianca set her phone down. "What should we do first?" "Ice skating, obviously. It's tradition." "Tradition it is." They bundled up and headed to Woolman Rink. Maya was better this year, more confident, falling less, laughing more. She had been taking skating lessons at home, something Bianca had budgeted for after realizing she didn't have to spend all her money on everyone else's gift expectations. The older couple from last year was there again. Same matching scarves, same comfortable synchronicity. "You came back," the woman called out, delighted. "Tradition," Maya explained seriously. "Best kind," the man agreed, winking just like last year. They skated for 2 hours. Bianca's ankles hurt and her cheeks burned from the cold, but Maya's smile was still incandescent, and that made everything worth it. At Serendipity 3, Maya ordered the frozen hot chocolate this time, ambitious enough to try something new. She got whipped cream on her nose again and laughed at herself. "Mama?" "Yeah, sweet girl?" "This is still the best Christmas ever." "Same as last year?" "No, better. Because last year we were running away from something. This year we're just running towards something good." Bianca stared at her daughter. "When did you get so wise?" Maya shrugged. "I've always been wise. You just noticed." "Fair point." That evening they went to see the Rockefeller Center tree again. Maya stood in the same spot as last year, headphones on, staring up at the lights. Do you still see the Fibonacci sequence? Bianca asked. Yeah, but this year I also see us, you and me, making our own pattern, our own spiral. I like that. Me too. Maya leaned against Bianca's side. Thanks for bringing me back here. Thanks for being brave enough to do something different last year. We were both brave. Yeah, Bianca agreed. We were. They walked back to the hotel through streets that glittered with possibility. Bianca's phone was on this year, tucked in her purse, but she wasn't anxious about it. There were no frantic messages, no guilt trips, no demands for her labor. Just a few supportive texts from people who'd learned to respect her boundaries. From Caroline, thinking of you both, enjoy every minute. From her mother, Maya sent me a picture of the tree. It's beautiful. So is she. So are you. From Rachel, the mom from the sensory-friendly Nutcracker, who'd become a real friend over the past year. Same time, same place next week. Connor wants to show Maya his new STEM toys. From Angela, her college roommate. Living for these NYC updates. You're glowing in these photos. Proud of you, B. Bianca felt full. Not from hot chocolate or cupcakes, but from something deeper. From knowing her worth. From building a life that honored both herself and her daughter. From understanding that she didn't have to diminish herself to keep other people comfortable. Mama? Maya said as they rode the elevator up to their room. Yeah? Can I tell you a secret? Always. I used to think there was something wrong with me. Because the family didn't want me around. Because I was too loud, or too weird, or too much. Bianca's heart cracked open. Oh, sweet girl. But I don't think that anymore. Because you showed me that they were wrong, not me. That I get to be exactly who I am, and the people who love me will make space for that. That's right. And if they don't make space, then they don't get access to us. Maya nodded, satisfied. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. In their room, Maya set up her stuffed animals and changed into her pajamas. She brushed her teeth in exactly 47 strokes. Bianca had counted once, fascinated by the precision. Then she climbed into bed with Plaza and her fractal book. Read with me? She asked. Bianca climbed into Maya's bed, and they read together about the infinite complexity of mathematical patterns. Maya pointed out connections Bianca never would have seen, made observations that were both brilliant and uniquely hers. Mama? Maya said eventually, drowsy. Yeah? After Christmas at the plaza, everything else is just gravy. Bianca laughed, surprised. Where did you hear that? You said it. Last year? On the plane ride home? I remembered because it was true. It is true. We're the main course, Maya said seriously. You and me. Everything else is extra. Nice sometimes, but not necessary. Exactly right, sweet girl. Exactly right. Maya fell asleep like that, curled against Bianca's side, Plaza tucked under her chin. Bianca stayed there for a long time, watching her daughter's peaceful face, thinking about the year they'd had. It hadn't been easy. There had been hard conversations and difficult boundaries, and moments when Bianca had doubted herself. There had been family members who'd resisted change, and others who'd doubled down on their dysfunction. But there had also been growth. Not just in Caroline and her mother, but in Bianca herself. She'd learned that she could honor her family connections while still prioritizing her own peace. That she could be kind without being a doormat. That protecting herself and Maya wasn't selfish. It was necessary. She'd learned that true family wasn't about blood or obligation. It was about respect and effort and showing up in ways that mattered. It was about seeing each other clearly and loving what you saw. And she'd learned that she and Maya were enough. Just the two of them, making their own patterns, creating their own traditions, building their own beautiful life. Everything else really was just gravy. Bianca carefully extracted herself from Maya's bed and moved to her own. Through the window, she could see the lights of Manhattan stretching out forever. Millions of individual points of light, each one distinct, each one necessary to create the whole magnificent picture. She thought about next Christmas, about the year ahead. She didn't know if Caroline would sustain her growth, or if her mother would continue trying, or if the rest of the family would ever truly change. But she knew that she and Maya would be okay. More than okay. They would thrive because they'd learned the most important lesson. Their worth wasn't dependent on anyone else's recognition. They were valuable simply because they existed. They were enough simply because they were. And if anyone couldn't see that, well, that was their loss, not hers, not Maya's, not anymore. Bianca fell asleep smiling, dreaming of ice skating and Christmas lights and the infinite, beautiful patterns of a life lived authentically. A life lived free. The end. True value does not depend on the recognition of others. You are good enough on your own. And after you've tasted real freedom, real peace, real joy, after you've had Christmas at the plaza, everything else really is just gravy.